David.
Good afternoon, Mike.
Good afternoon.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Especially with these two games coming up pretty quick and what your injury situation is overall, how big of a concern is that? And can you, I know it's still early, but with Jake and your three offensive linemen from last night, kind of where they stand?
Yeah, definitely. We're still kind of working through a couple of these, but, I think Jake will be hard-pressed to be available. Zach Martin, we're still finishing up on there. But, we do have hopeful to get some guys back this week. So, that's where we're hoping it balances out.
And I know you always use the determining factor, just physically, if a guy can play, he plays. But when a guy is clearly compromised and you have 2 games in 4 days like you do coming up, does that factor into the decision?
I would say it's definitely part of the equation, without a doubt. It's if they're not fully capable of playing this week, then obviously next week is, I think the question we'll be talking about here when we get to Sunday is more, potentially the guys that are coming back, maybe how much they will, how much they will play, because, you just can't bring guys back and expect to play 50, 60 plays.
Clarence Hill, All City, Dallas. Can you just talk about the fight this team continues to show? Even though the scores seem to be lopsided, Jerry talked last night about you haven't lost a team, and I know there were some skirmishes on the field last night. Is that an example of this team still has the passion to play the game?
Oh, definitely. You got to remember now, this, just like any year, this journey starts back in April. So, and these guys have done a lot together. We've done a lot together. We've put a lot into us, and we are frustrated, disappointed where we are. But this locker room has a tremendous amount of fight. I can't tell you how much I do believe in them, and it is difficult, but we'll continue to fight.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. You told us a couple weeks ago that you expected a transition defensively. I can't imagine you thought it would take this long for things to get up to speed. Does that kind of surprise you that the transition has taken this kind of long?
I think there's a lot more to it than just a transition. We have a lot of moving parts on defense. I think the injuries were probably, the biggest setback, coming out of training camp early in the season. So, we do have new guys playing, certain positions, just evident this past game too. So, and we've had to play certain defenses more this year than we ever had, just because of the way the lineups have laid out.
And then offensively, when that's not gone the way you had hoped that it would go either, do you ever consider giving Schottenheimer a chance to call some of the plays at times, or rearrange how you guys look at your process?
Haven't considered, don't think like that.
John Machota with The Athletic. Can you just share what maybe your reaction was to knowing that you think the roof's going to be open and then it's not, when finding that all out, and did it have any impact on anything that you did yesterday?
No, if the roof's open, you go out and you measure the wind. I know there was a potential wind, so we were prepared to assess the environment. But yeah, we had plenty of time. We're there early, so we have plenty of time to adjust.
And then on the Turpin play, I think it's easy for us on the outside to say, well, how come there aren't more plays like that? Why do you think that maybe Cavante hasn't been as involved in the offense?
I won't say he's been involved. I think Demonte's had a lot of opportunities as far as play time, and I think he's done a really good job. If you look at the steps, the jump he's made from last year to this year, he's able to play all the positions on offense. So I actually feel very good about what he's given us at the receiver position.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. When you're going through times like this, how do you try not to change too much or tinker a little bit, or just stay the course because you believe in the process?
Well, we're going to stay the course. I'm just really like any year, any week. Really, the injury reports really drives a lot of our decision, drives a lot of what we can do, what we cannot do. So, and that's kind of what we're working through right now as a staff. Trying to get ready for Washington.
Run game, we talked about how it soft, and it looked like he was moving forward. How frustrating was it just to see?
Yeah, we took a step backwards, clearly yesterday. So I was disappointed in just the way that laid out. So we need to do a much better job this week.
Saw Saudis of The Athletic. Mike, what were your initial impressions about Dan Quinn when you hired him, just on your staff, and then, how did that relationship grow in the ensuing 3 years?
Yeah, just knowing Dan from across the way, always had a ton of respect for him. It was awesome to have him here in Dallas. He's become a very good friend, and I'm really happy for the success he's having.
And what ways did you see him relate to players? It seems like the players also have a great deal of respect for him.
Yeah, definitely. Dan does a great job connecting with people. Has great personality. So, yeah, he did a great job for us and is doing a great job now.
Nick Harris for Star Telegram. Getting guys like Josh Butler and Ryan Flanoy starts and ample experience yesterday, is there an intention moving forward to give more youth opportunities like that?
I mean, we've been playing with youth all year, so we're going to do it.
Starting opportunities like that.
Yes, I mean, so if it lays up this way, they'll have a chance. Hopefully, we get Brandon Cooks back this week, so we'll see how that shakes out.
Been playing 3 games in 10 days. Does your staff meet just to kind of talk about workload for the guys over the course of the next couple of weeks?
Workload for the players?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a plan. We've been through this before, so we actually had to work ahead for Washington last week. Being on a Monday night schedule. So we're into Washington today, and we get the end of the week, then we'll have to work ahead on the Giants. So we have a good plan.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, given your familiarity with Dan Quinn, how similar is his defense in Washington to what he ran with you?
It's very similar. I think Joe Witt's done a tremendous job. I mean, he's taken pretty much the system there, and then he's gone in a direction that he believes in. He's been very aggressive with it, and been very impressed.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. It's been a tough year for the offensive line in a lot of different ways. With the latest on the injury front, how much more challenging will that be over these next couple of games at least?
I mean, that's part of it. Obviously, Zach is a key. He's a keystone for our offensive line. So, that will be a big one. But it's just more opportunity for these young players that really have been playing a lot and have been getting a lot of work. So, one of the benefits of our young players is, Zach doesn't practice on Wednesday, so they've been getting those reps. So, yeah, we just gotta get them lined up and put them in position to be successful.
Jasmine O'Neill, Dallas Cowboys media. With the absence of Dak Prescott and DeMarcus Lawrence, who have you seen step up into a position of leadership, and how effective would you say they've been from a cultural perspective?
I think the biggest thing what you're looking for in guys now is more leadership through action and productivity, and that always happens particularly with young guys. But we have a segment in our team meetings the day before the game where the team captains have an opportunity to speak. So that's been interesting to see some of the younger guys. And I'll just go off of this week. Cooper Beebe was the offensive captain. So it's good to see these guys let their personalities out and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah. Ed Werder, WFAA. This week, you got Will Greer is now a factor at your quarterback position. What do you see the quarterback roles being for?
Cooper Rush will be the starter, and we're putting together a game plan to go win. So then we got a package for Trey, and we'll see what happens.
Aaron.
Aaron Lone Star, just following up on that, I think you said last night that you wanted to get Trey a series. Was that just because of the score, or
Yeah, I just think a lot of young players were playing at the end of the game, and it would have been good to get Trey in there. Was the point I was making.
You said earlier that some players could return this week. You mentioned Brandon Cooks. Who are some of the other guys you think that you might get back this week?
Nealon, hopefully he can get back. So Chuma's, practiced last week. So, all those guys are getting close.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio on the Fan. Josh Butler moving into the starting lineup after being elevated to the practice squad the previous couple of weeks. What had he shown in practice and in that limited time of elevation that merited moving into the starting lineup?
I mean, JB's been super, super consistent. I think it just like anything has always shown the ability to be a factor on special teams, but just his versatility and I thought he did a nice job. And came on also having the opportunity to play too. So backing up the nickel and special teams. But those guys are super, super consistent guys, super competitive. So you love it when you see those guys get that chance.
Dave.
Mike, you were talking earlier, we were asking about Zach, and you were talking about working through injury situations, and it's always physically, but do you have any conversations on a guy like Martin or somebody, just the message it sends when a guy is not completely healthy and he's pushing and saying, I want to be in there? You talk about leadership and setting an example for younger players. How do you balance getting a younger player more time and a veteran saying, no, things are going bad, I need to be out there, I need to be part of this?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, it's a great example what Zach Martin has shown this year and obviously throughout his career. And I think that's, something that we all notice. But the practice structure is in place. We have a vet select plan for individuals that are, that you got to be smart with them. It is a long year, 17 games, and all those things are factored into it. So the young guys do benefit from it in our practice regimen. And then with that, he's obviously involved in all the meetings, is definitely involved in the walkthroughs and things like that. So the leadership component is always in place. So I think the systematic approach of how we handle the Zach Martins has worked out very well for us.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Howdy, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Today, your number one source for all things America's team. If you're a diehard football fan and love our Dallas Cowboys, you're in the right place. So don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest Cowboys news. Let's get started. Movie camera, hey Cowboys fans. This is the place to stay up to date with everything happening with our beloved team. Before diving into today's topic, I have a question for you. If it were up to you, would you keep Mike McCarthy as head coach until the end of the season or make a change now? Think about it as I bring you some news that's shaking things up behind the scenes in Dallas. 3 o'clock, let's get serious. After a humiliating 34-10 loss to the Houston Texans on November 18th, the pressure on Mike McCarthy has reached an all-time high. With a 3-7 record this season, the Dallas Cowboys are practically out of playoff contention and battling to avoid being the worst team in the NFC East. Yet, to the surprise of many, Jerry Jones has confirmed that McCarthy will remain as head coach at least until the end of the season. Newspaper, why this decision? Jones reflected on past mid-season changes, such as the firings of John Gailey and Wade Phillips, and admitted he regretted those hasty decisions. According to the franchise owner, he's listening to that same music again and prefers to give McCarthy more time, despite growing dissatisfaction among fans. Broken heart, the problem goes beyond McCarthy. This Cowboys season has been marred by setbacks, including a season-ending injury to Dak Prescott. But that doesn't excuse the head coach, who has managed only one playoff win in 5 seasons, unacceptable for a franchise with such a storied history. Flex biceps, and what about the future? 2 major names are being linked to the head coach position for next season: Bill Belichick, the legendary 6-time Super Bowl winner with the New England Patriots, and Deion Sanders, a former Cowboys player and current head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, where he's created an explosive offense featuring Travis Hunter and his son, Shadur Sanders. Magnifying glass tilted left, a big question is, would Jerry Jones be willing to relinquish absolute control of the team to bring in a coach like Belichick? Or is Coach Prime, with his Texas connections and immense popularity, the right choice to lead a new era in Dallas? Speech balloon, now it's your turn. Cowboys fans, what do you think about the decision to keep McCarthy through the end of the season? And who would you like to see coaching the Cowboys next year? Share your thoughts in the comments, spread this news with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on everything about our Dallas Cowboys. American football, because here, Cowboys passion never stops. Go Cowboys!